Hello everyone and welcome to my first YouTube video called Open Table Talk. And what I'll be doing on these videos is talking about everything from politics to pop culture to headline news to anything that you guys want to hear about and talk about. And of course anything I want to talk about because I'm running this program, not you guys. But I really have a passion about talking about different subjects. I've learned that it's become a passion of mine. I'm on Twitter and I tweet a lot. I love to twatter. I twat all the time. My friends have often complained about it. Often many people have unfollowed me because of how often I tweet, but I talk about everything. I talk about Beyonce lip syncing and, the president and, Lance Armstrong. I talk about everything. I retweet different news sources, CNN, Associated Press, The Hollywood Reporter. And this week, my first video, I will be bringing some information on a couple of different subjects. And what we will be talking about is the Chris Brown Frank Ocean fight that just happened. Boy Scouts reconsidering their policy against gay membership. We're going to talk about that gun control situation. We're going to talk about Lance Armstrong in his interview with Oprah. I found that fascinating and I have an opinion. And we are going to talk about Rick Ross. Someone tried to shoot him up. But what else happens with rappers? You rappers happen to find yourselves in the most worst situations that always have to do with guns and someone trying to kill you. I don't understand. But we're going to get to the first topic brought to you by ABC News, and this is about Rick Ross. And rapper Rick Ross was out celebrating his 37th birthday at a Fort Lauderdale, Florida diner early Sunday morning when he became the alleged target of a drive-by shooting. Police say Ross and his girlfriend were leaving the 24-hour diner, the Floridian, around 5 a.m. Perfect time to hit up a diner. Probably smoked a couple of blunts before then. No judging. After eating a late meal, when someone unloaded close to 24 bullets into Rick Ross' Rolls Royce. I have a couple of things to say about that. One, Rick Ross has an age, and he's turning 37 years old. I'm just used to him talking about money and hoes and drugs and, Maybach music. And another thing, to the shooter out there, you miss Rick Ross. And you miss Rick Ross in an obnoxious gray Rolls Royce. So I have two suggestions for you. One, give up on life because you miss Rick Ross. And two, next time hire a hitman. Easy. I don't understand what's with rappers and always someone's trying to shoot them or they're trying to shoot someone. I don't get it. Who are you people involved in? T.I. had a situation with guns. Lil Wayne had a situation with guns. We can remember Biggie was shot, and I actually found out from VH1 Behind the Music this past weekend how deep that situation was. So we all know the East Coast versus West Coast, Tupac versus Biggie, but now Suge Knight has a place in it. And apparently Suge Knight was pissed off about how Tupac got shot and died, and he wanted to retaliate. So allegedly he hired a hit person to kill Biggie, which is that night that he was shot in Los Angeles. And I just don't... Why do rappers always... First of all, who is Suge Knight? I don't know who that is. I've just heard that name. I thought he was a boxer. I don't know how he's involved in music, but apparently he is. I don't know. I mean, that's pretty sad and pathetic that you missed Rick Ross. It's tragic. Go to a shooting range. And 50 Cent tweeted out, ha ha ha, fat boy hit the building. Looks like it's staged to me. No holes in the car. Good to know that 50 Cent did well with grammar in high school. In the car. The next thing I want to talk about is the Chris Brown Frank Ocean fight. Chris Brown versus Frank Ocean. Ego versus talent. Real talent. We all know that Chris Brown is always involved in some kind of situation, whether it's beating Rihanna Stacey, having the temper tantrum in Good Morning America in New York City, and being upset that Robin Roberts asked you about what you did to Rihanna, and you got pissed off and went in a dressing room and decided to throw a chair, allegedly, through the window, and it's New York City. You're not on some first floor, you're in a building, and shards of glass fell onto the street. Luckily, he did not hurt anyone. Here's what happened. I have the article right here. I got it from E! Online. Apparently, the police reportedly responded to a call alerting them to an altercation between 6 men at a location along Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood. Officers spoke with the witnesses at the scene, who claimed that the scuffle started over a parking space, and that Chris Brown allegedly punched the victim in question, which is Frank Ocean. So we fight over parking spaces, because I'm sure this music studio had only one parking space. And this is actually not the first time Chris Brown and Frank Ocean have had a situation. Apparently, in 2011, Chris Brown said, "I F with Frank Ocean," and compared him to songwriters James Fauntleroy and Kevin Cossum. I don't know who those people are, but apparently they're like Frank Ocean. And Frank Ocean said back to Chris Brown that his R&B reminds him of Sisqó and the late Ike Turner. And all we know Ike Turner, Tina Turner, hit Tina, Chris and Rihanna connection. What's love? What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? I did not say that I was a singer. I don't understand. I know I don't know the situation, but Chris Brown finds himself in a lot of trouble a lot of times. And I just think he needs to take a break. I will admit that his last CD had me up and dancing, but just because you give good music doesn't mean that you're a good person. The Drake situation in the club in New York City at Greenhouse. First of all, Greenhouse is a very fancy club. It's a nice club. I haven't been there because I'm not old enough to get in, but one day I will go. And allegedly, him and Chris Brown and their crew, their entourage, they were throwing bottles across the club at each other. And of course, you remember that basketball player Tony Parker for the San Antonio Spurs was supposed to play for France in the Olympics, and that he was thinking about pressing charges against Drake and Chris Brown because he got a shard of glass in his eye, and it would ruin his performance in basketball. And I mean, you need your eyes to play basketball, unless there are blind people out there that are playing basketball and are good at it. Then otherwise, Tony Parker should get over it. You know, speaking of Frank Ocean's a G. The fact that he came out and won the music industry, and 2, in the hip-hop music industry, where that type of thing is taboo, where hip-hop often goes against homosexuality. Frank Ocean had the gusto, the balls to just say, "This is who I am, and I'm proud." And I don't know if you heard his album Channel Orange, but that's my CD. Hands down, best album of the year that I've heard from any R&B artist. It's like his music is from a different era. He's like taking you back to a time in which I don't think has ever existed. And his music, and he's a great lyricist, and Chris Brown is just trouble. And how tragic is him and Rihanna getting back together? One, in my opinion, Chris Brown makes Rihanna look like a fool. Makes her really look like some sideline hoe. When you're out and you are going out with this Karrueche Tran, who is allegedly his girlfriend, and then Rihanna is allegedly his other girlfriend. And I just want to say to Rihanna, there are plenty of men that are willing to just have you as their main squeeze. I'm one of them. I may not have the money, but I can take care of you, and I can feed you and love you, and I won't hit you, ever. And it's just everything that Rihanna tweets or Instagram, something to do with Chris Brown. All she Instagrams is pictures of her and Chris Brown smoking blunts. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people smoking blunts, but that's all it seems like they do, is smoke weed. And I'm not going against weed. I know people that smoke weed. There are a lot of people in this country that smoke weed. They're legalizing it everywhere, but she's a role model to a lot of people. And when you have little girls looking up at you, and one, you go back to this guy that beat you up bad, and then you also go back to this guy that it seems like he doesn't want to commit to you, and it seems like you're okay with just being another woman. That doesn't make sense to me, but I often don't understand what goes through the minds of women, because you all have your own prerogative. The next thing I would like to talk about is the Boy Scouts reconsidering their policy against membership, against gay membership. And I got this article from CNN.com, and about the Boy Scouts. The organization has about 2.7 million members and is potentially discussing doing away with this national policy after months of protests, including hundreds of angry Eagle Scouts renouncing their hard-earned awards and mailing back their red, white, and blue medals. Many parents of Scouts across America find the policy excluding gays, confusing and at odds with basic Scouting ideals. Also, it turns out the Boy Scouts of America have heard from Scouts, corporations, and millions of Americans that discriminating against gay Scouts and Scout leaders is wrong. GLAAD president, and GLAAD stands for gay, lesbian... Oh goodness. What does GLAAD stand for? Bear with me one moment, because I don't want to talk about something. Okay, GLAAD stands for Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. I am so sorry to the gay community that I did not know that. My beef. GLAAD president Hernan Gradick said Scouting is a valuable institution, and this change will only strengthen its core principles of fairness and respect, which I agree with. But some critics say Scouts have failed to change with the times and blame the connection to organized religion. Approximately 70% of Scout troops are affiliated with some type of church or religious group, according to Boy Scouts of America spokesman. And apparently, the Catholic Church and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are among Scouting's biggest backers. In 2011, the Mormon-backed Cub Scout and Boy Scout troops accounted for more than 420,000 of all Scouts nationwide. First of all, I won't even get into the Catholic Church and their hypocrisy when it comes to homosexuality, because we all know what has happened in the Catholic Church. Another thing I will say is I hate when people bring religion and God into it. I understand that some people have certain feelings and certain morals and certain values that come with their religious organizations. But last time I checked, I'm a Christian and I've read the Bible, and nowhere in the Bible does it say to treat gay people and lesbians like second-class citizens. Nowhere does it say to denounce gay people and make them feel like trash. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that. Actually, we are not called to judge other people because we are not perfect ourselves. And so I don't support that whole situation right there. I was part of the Boy Scouts for a short time when I lived in Puerto Rico for a year and a half, and all I remember is camping and s'mores and manhunt. I don't think I've ever tied a knot. I don't think I have a badge, but I do have the book that teaches me how to tie a knot downstairs in the office. It's sad that it's 2013 and we're having this issue. Can I just say that there has been gay people in the Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Eagle Scouts since the beginning? It's just that they were in the closet, and get over it. Gay people are not going anywhere. They've been here since the beginning of time, and they're not going anywhere. And if you have a problem with it, well then get over it. If you think moving to another country is going to get over your problem with gay people, well most likely gay people are in that other country too, and they're just hiding. Let it go. The Boy Scouts, I don't think this is a good representation of their name and what they stand for. Boy Scouts is about building leadership and manhood and teaching you life skills and skills to use out into the world, and nowhere does it say that to be a bigot towards a group of people. And that's how I feel about the Boy Scout situation. The next thing I am going to talk about, and I got this article from the Aiken Standard, and that is about what Lance Armstrong did. We all know that he recently admitted to blood doping and basically cheating for his, the cycling in Tour de France. He is a 7-time consecutive winner of the Tour de France, and he has recently been banned from cycling. Well, I didn't know like that deep that you can just say you're not allowed to ride a bike anymore. Like, who has that power? I wish someone would tell me I'm not allowed to cycle. Watch me get out my bike and cycle. Watch it. And so basically, the situation with Lance Armstrong, I watched that interview with Oprah, and Oprah was not playing games. It looks like Oprah has lost weight. She got a new wig. Congrats, because for a while you were looking a little rough, girl. A little rough. But when it comes to blood doping situation, what it is that it is so you can, I am looking at my iPhone right now because I got a message. This is live. So basically, of course, we know that oxygen is transported through the body through blood cells, specifically red blood cells, and increasing the number of red blood cells boosts the amount of oxygen delivered to the muscle, which enhances your performance when it comes to cycling. Now, I found out that this is done through blood transfusions. What kind of junkie are you that you are just hooking yourself up to shove a freaking IV in your arm, and you're using blood to enhance your performance in sports? I don't understand it. As a person who has had about 6 or 7 blood transfusions, not because of cycling. I'm not a cyclist. I actually haven't ridden a bike in a long time, which is pretty sad. But I am a cancer survivor. Whoop whoop. Shout out to everyone out there going through the struggle. Family member, yourself. It's a hard struggle, but this too shall pass. But I've had several blood transfusions, and it's not a fun situation. And I don't know who would think that, oh, so I can run a race, let's transfuse my blood. But anyway, after the blood is removed, the blood oxygen level is lower than normal, leading to the release of a hormone called EPO. EPO causes an increase in the red blood cells, in the production of the red blood cells. Since the body replaced the donated red blood cells, the reinfused blood adds extra red blood cells, which carry even more oxygen to the muscle to improve performance. Now, one thing about that interview, I knew Oprah was going to blow up his spot, and she did. And I shout out to Lance Armstrong's publicist, because I'm sure you sat down with him and you were going back and forth with him with those questions, because he was very guarded. Excuse me. I think you can tell by his body language that he was uncomfortable, and he was very scared about, I think, what Oprah was going to ask. And I mean, he hinted a lot of things, like he wouldn't fully answer the question. He basically insinuated that it seems like in the world of cycling, and when it comes to the Tour de France, it's almost expected of you to blood dope. And I know someone, and I won't name this person because this is my friend, but this person told me, who cares if he blood doped? That's called cheating, so of course that's an issue. Yeah, that's an issue. Also, another thing that he did is that he took the hormone EPO, which is, that's EPO's hormone that is excreted. But it can also be produced as a prescription drug that has the same effect. And it's usually used to treat anemia, which is caused commonly by chemotherapy. And his victories in the Tour de France increased the popularity of cycling in the U.S. and promoted the sport among young athletes. And I mean, that's a whole business right there. If you think about the story of Lance Armstrong, we all know that he's a cancer survivor, and then he started the Live Strong Foundation, which recently asked him to step down as their founder. And that's pretty sad when you have created something, and because of what you now stand for, they have asked you to step down. That sucks. And he's also been stripped of his 7 titles. He said in that interview, which I found interesting, that day that he got the call from the sponsors, Nike and all those other companies, that he lost about $70 million that day. And he has nobody to blame but himself. Sorry. You want to cheat, you want to dope, blood dope, you gonna get in trouble. Get over it. I mean, listen, people cheat all the time. That's why, I don't know. Lance Armstrong, and my heart broke for him when he was talking about his son and how he had to explain to his son, because his son was defending him in school and to his friends, and to know that you're defending your father, and then to find out that your father is undefendable because he has lied and trashed all these people that talked about how he did blood doping. It's tragic. And the last topic I'm going to talk about for this week is something that America has been talking about for a while now, and that is gun control. We all know that most recently, the biggest, I wouldn't say the biggest shooting, but the most tragic shooting was recently at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut, that left 27 people dead, and 18 of those were children. Children who woke up that day and their main purpose was to go to school and learn. And I think any time where you send your child to school and you have to worry about a crazy man coming in the school with an assault weapon and taking out your children, I think that's the time where we need to have a discussion about what's next for our country. We know as a country that we have issues with guns. No one's trying to take anyone's guns. Please don't blow up my spot about I am supporting taking away guns. I support gun control. We have a Second Amendment right, the right to bear arms, but let's break down where that right to bear arms comes from. We were once controlled by the British people. Hello, governor. Lovely day, isn't it? That was lame, sorry. The reason that we have that Second Amendment right is so that we could protect ourselves as a country from the British militia coming in and taking over our country. That's why we have the right to bear arms. And let's think about when this law, this was established. In a time where we didn't have automatic, semi-automatic weapons. It was a time where it took 15-20 minutes to reload to shoot someone. And I think that as we grow as a country, our Constitution should grow as a country as well. And it's not. I have some facts that I got this from DoSomething.org. 11 facts about guns. We have, of course, 340 million people in this country, and I would say there are about 310 million guns in this country already. Guns that people have had from a long time ago. There's just 310 million known guns in this country. 70 to 80 million Americans own guns, and 40 to 45% of households in the U.S. contain guns. Like I said, no one's trying to take away your guns, but there's a difference between owning a Glock, a pistol, and having it safely in your house, and then having a machine gun or an assault rifle in your house. You can't trust everyone with the responsibility of a gun. We know that because I'm pretty sure everyone knows someone that has been affected by gun violence. We see it on the news every day. Every couple of months we have these mass shootings, and as a country we get upset. Gun control, and then 2 weeks later we forget about it and pretend like nothing happened. How is that progress as a country? It's not progress. We're doing ourselves a disservice. I understand people hunt. I live in the South now. I know people that hunt. I know people that own guns. I've been to my friends' houses where they have guns, and it scares the hell out of me. And some of them have these guns that are used in these mass shootings. Now, I know that they're not going to go out and hurt people, but when you have to think of it in the way that there are millions of people in this country that have these type of guns, and there are millions that, I wouldn't say millions, but there are many people in this country that are not mentally all together, and that are emotionally recluse, and they are looking for an opportunity to take that emotion out on someone, which results in these mass shootings. I think as a country it's our responsibility to have a conversation about it. Background checks, a study with mental health and investing in that. Mental health has very much so to do with the situation just as the guns. And I know people say, well, guns don't kill people, people kill people. It's both. It's both. It's both. People use guns to kill people. That's the facts. I'm just going to say it like I mean it. That's the facts. Let's call a thing a thing. It's about time we have a conversation. It's about time we have a conversation. Because it's just the accessibility to guns is a little ridiculous in this country. And then we have just as well as established nations in other parts of the world, like England and Australia and even Canada, who have like less than 100 gun-related deaths a year. Why can't we look at what they're doing and implement some of that? And so this is all that I have to say for this week. I really tried to give you a well-rounded, table of topics to discuss. I would appreciate it if you give me some feedback with this. Let me know what you want me to talk about, what you want to hear about. I talk about it all. Here are my articles. And one thing about me, it's not just banter for me. I look up the facts. I'm about facts. I'm not about just saying stuff, because a lot of people just say stuff and they don't know what they're talking about, and you sound stupid. I'm just saying. So this is my first YouTube video, Open Table Talk. I hope to do many more of these, probably once a week, and just choosing about 5 or 6 articles from the week that a lot of people have been talking about, and I give my opinion on it. And I thank you for taking the time, and I hope you all have a great week. Be good to other people, because that's what you would want people to do to you. And have a good one, and I will see you next time on Open Table Talk. Until next time, bye-bye. See ya later.